Good evening and welcome to this special broadcast of Elon Local News. I'm Alex Rose.
And I'm Nicole Chadwick. Tonight we are covering the Student Government Association election speeches and presidential debate. You'll hear from candidates running for SGA positions as they outline their platforms and goals for the upcoming school year. Immediately following the speeches, Elon Local News' Joe Bruno will moderate a debate between presidential candidates Joe Incorvia and Jessica Petrillo.
Here's how tonight will work. Each candidate will give a speech of up to 6 minutes in length. The speeches will begin with candidates for the Academic Council, followed by the At-Large Council, and ending with the candidates for the Executive Council. In the presidential debate, candidates will have 1 minute to answer questions from the moderator, and their opponent will get 30 seconds to respond. Extended discussion on a specific topic or question may continue at the moderator's discretion.
And if you want to be a part of the election from home, you can tweet your questions for the candidates to us at Elon Local News. Also be sure to follow us for live updates throughout the show. Make sure to use the hashtag SGA election and you might see your question on the air.
Now, before we get started with the speeches, let's take a closer look at the presidential candidates. First up is Elon Jr. Jessica Petrillo. Petrillo is currently the junior class secretary. She is majoring in finance and minoring in accounting and Spanish.
And next we have Joe Incorvia. Incorvia is also a junior at Elon. He's currently the executive vice president in SGA and is majoring in biochemistry with minors in neuroscience and psychology.
In addition to the presidential race, there are 3 other candidates running for executive positions, all of whom are running unopposed. Brian Cozen is running for vice president, Avery Stedman running for treasurer, and Matthew Crehan is running for secretary.
Carly Hilliard is reporting live from the debate. Let's check in with her. Carly, how's everything going over there?
Hi, Nicole. I'm here in Studio B where the speeches will begin shortly. Now, right now, the audience is made up of mostly current SGA members as well as those candidates running for the upcoming election. Now, as you said, many of the candidates are running for their positions unopposed. For the executive positions, only the position of executive president is a contested race. For the other positions, there's a good mix of those running opposed versus unopposed, but only those candidates who are running in a contested race need to give speeches today. Now, I spoke with the 2 candidates for executive president a few minutes ago. They agreed that they're both a little bit nervous for the debate, but they say they've both put in a lot of preparation. I'll keep you updated on what's happening on my end, but for now, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Carly. Remember, voting for SGA elections begins tomorrow and runs through Wednesday. All students will receive an email tomorrow with instructions and a link for voting online.
The candidates are almost ready to begin their speeches, but first let's hear from Associate Vice President for Student Life, Jana Lynn Patterson.
I've been asked to let you all know a little bit about why these speeches are important and why these executive races are important. I think first is to talk about the importance of SGA. SGA is the voice of the student body here at Elon, and for decades and decades here in our history, SGA has been the body that every major decision on this campus comes to for debate and for feedback to the senior administration. So every vote and every person in SGA is important. The executive officers, though, provide that leadership for the Student Government Association. Your executive treasurer will manage $500,000. That's $500,000 of your student activity fees. Your executive secretary is responsible for planning and implementing homecoming. And that's a very important campus affinity activity that brings everybody together. Your executive vice president is responsible for moderating the Senate. It is a thankless job, and it is a job that but is important as the Senate debates legislation which affects your lives as students. And finally, the executive president. The executive president serves as the chief appointer of students in our shared governance system. Elon operates on a shared governance system, which means that for most committees on this campus, including faculty committees, there is student representation. And that president, your SGA president, solicits and appoints those students to serve. So those students are your voices in the faculty governance system as well. So it is important. We're delighted for all the candidates who have run. We want to thank them. We want to thank them for their speeches and wish them all good luck.
Again, Joe Incorvia and Jessica Petrillo are both running for executive president, and both of them will be speaking tonight. Again, they have approximately 5 minutes to give their speeches, and as we heard, Janalyn Patterson just recapped the important roles of the executive vice president here on Elon's campus.
It looks like we're about to start, so we will go on over to them.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Terrence McLaughlin, and I would like to sincerely thank you for considering me to be the next Academic Council Senator for the School of Communications. It is with great honor that I stand here today among so many other passionate Elon students. To begin, I would like for you all to better know who you're voting for. I'm a first-year student from a small town in Wilton, Connecticut, where I live with my parents and 2 younger brothers. I drive a 2004 Volvo SUV with about 213,000 miles on it, and hope to someday work in publishing or advertising. I'm currently working as a design editor on The Pendulum, and have made the decision to major in strategic communications and minor in entrepreneurship. I'm obsessed with TV shows like Homeland, House of Cards, Veep, all of which oddly have to do with politics. I also have some past leadership experience working as editor-in-chief of my high school yearbook. Now, since coming to Elon this August, it's been my hope that I will be able to prove myself not only as a student, but as a leader and as a compassionate individual that is actually interested in bettering the school which I care for so much. It has taken me some time to realize that as a student attending Wilton High School, I actually made quite a difference. My ultimate success was as a yearbook editor-in-chief, where I managed to completely change and enhance the look of a once tired-looking rectangular block of tie-dye pages and glossy cardboard into an interactive and visually appealing text. This personal experience is a true testament to my character, to my work ethic, and to my commitment to change. As a member of the tight-knit Elon community of communication students, I believe that there are some changes that can be made. In my opinion, I believe that the School of Communications should disclose more details concerning the upcoming renovations plan, as well as do more to advertise and market programs such as the Communications Internship Office and student organizations such as the Pendulum and Elon Student Television. I believe that the School of Communications could benefit from an experienced advocate of change such as myself, an advocate who is prepared to work for an expanded integration between the Elon Student Media Group and the School of Communications, an advocate who hopes to increase the level of transparency between the school and the rest of the university, and lastly, an advocate who will work tirelessly for the students in the communications community. I hope that after hearing this speech, you will all have come to trust me and my ability to advocate on behalf of the Elon School of Communications. Thank you again for your consideration, and please remember to not only vote tomorrow and Wednesday, but to also spread the word that others can vote as well. Good night.
Okay, thank you guys. We're gonna have a little change of plans. I'm gonna introduce the candidates as we go so you guys know what order we're going in. Next up, we have Harrison Atkinson.
Yeah, thank you. That was a little more easy. Hello, my name is Harrison Atkinson. I'm a sophomore business student at Elon here. I am running for the Academic Council Love School of Business seat. I feel like I am the right candidate for this position because I honestly care about our Elon community. I have a strong history of leadership experience, and also I feel like I truly understand our business center very well enough to represent it. Since first coming to Elon, I've strived to become as involved as possible to truly take advantage of all the great programs and all the great things here offered at Elon. I've joined the Leadership Fellows program here, become a captain of the Safe Rides program, and also dared to become an RA in Danley. Through all these great experiences, I have learned numerous very valuable lessons, and I truly believe that I've gained a unique perspective, and I hope to bring this perspective to this position on Elon's Academic Council. Thank you.
All right, sorry about that delay. Next up, we have Grace McDavid. Okay. Next up, we have Kristen DeMaria. Is that okay? Next candidate will be for Academic Council. Okay, then we will move on. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, next up, we have Shelby Allen for Secretary.
Hey class of 2017, my name is Shelby Allen, and I'm running for secretary of our class for the 2014-2015 academic year. I am not sure how many of you had the opportunity to hear my campaign speech in the fall when I was running for secretary of our class for this year, but since then, what I stand for has not really changed. As I said in the fall, there are 3 primary questions I feel I should answer. Number 1, why am I running? I am running because I absolutely love Elon University and the things that the Student Government Association does for the school. As you know, SGA has the responsibility to represent the student body's rights and opinions. That responsibility is very important to me. I believe the environment at Elon University vastly improves when the student body is well represented. Number 2, what experience do I bring to the table? In high school, I was the secretary for my school's National Honor Society. Now, I am currently serving as the secretary for our class. I thrive on taking detailed notes, which is a primary function in the role. I have enjoyed the responsibilities that come with being secretary, and I've performed them to the best of my ability. The third and final question I believe I should answer is how can I make a difference? I will make sure that I listen to you and that your voice is heard by the SGA and the administration. You can count on me to take this responsibility very seriously. I feel that I'm a very reliable person. If anyone were to need anything, I could be there. Of course, I cannot do everything, but I will certainly try my best. That I can guarantee. After listening to these 3 things, I hope you have been able to notice these qualities throughout my past semester on SGA. I feel that I've been authentic in who I am and authentic in representing the class of 2017. Serving as the freshman class secretary for the 2013-2014 academic year has provided me the opportunity to truly immerse myself into the many duties that SGA is responsible for at Elon. I would be honored to use my experience in serving again and continuing to be a voice for our class. In closing, I love Elon University, and I feel that I bring the passion, experience, and commitment necessary to help make it an even better school. I would appreciate your vote on February 18th and 19th. Thank you, and I cannot wait to see what our class contributes to Elon over the next year.
All right, guys, I apologize for the confusion earlier, but I think we've got everything straightened out. So right now, obviously, we're on sophomore class secretary candidates. Next up is Elise Rupert.
Hello, I'm Elise Rupert, and I'm the right choice for sophomore class secretary. With 1 year of Elon SGA under my belt, I understand what it takes to properly represent my constituents. With my involvement in multiple other organizations and clubs around campus, I have gained a comprehensive understanding of what it means to be an Elon student and all that goes into this university. If elected, I will use this newfound knowledge to continue to represent the class of 2017 to the best of my ability. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, next up for sophomore class secretary, and I apologize for mispronouncing your name, but Vashti Shwimangal. Here? Okay. Then we're going to move on to the candidates for sophomore class senator, starting off with Brett Huntley.
Oh, all right. Hello, Elon. I hope everyone's getting back into the groove of school. My name is Brett Huntley, and I am running for the senator for the class of 2017. I can hardly put into words how excited I am to have this opportunity. After being student body vice president of my high school back in Breckenridge, Colorado, I am not only prepared, but willing to dedicate my time and efforts to SGA. Being involved in student government in college has always been a dream of mine, and I hope to be given the opportunity to carry out my dream and be of service here at Elon University. As a leadership fellow, a member of the club volleyball team, a West Hall dorm resident, and recently pledging a sorority, I have met so many great people and have gone to interact with Elon's diverse student body firsthand. Meeting and socializing with people is something that I greatly enjoy, and it has been very enriching. My experiences here at Elon has enabled me to gain perspective and additional knowledge that will be very useful to help with decision making regarding the sophomore class and just Elon as a whole. I feel well prepared to be able to represent, problem solve, take on challenges, and voice opinions in SGA. Now, I cannot stand here and promise anything, such as those delicious free acorn cookies. However, I can promise you my dedication and willingness in SGA to make the best decisions, find those solutions to problems, voice opinions, plan great activities, but most importantly, uphold SGA's missions to work with faculty and staff to create the best community and education possible here at Elon University. Also, I want to stress, if elected, my time spent as senator would not just be limited to the required hours in the SGA office. Rather, I would also commit to being a resource whenever need be. You can also be assured knowing that I actually love in meeting with new people, along with working with new faces. So fellow classmates, if at any time you are having problems or want to voice concerns or ideas about Elon or anything, I will be available to you. With that said, being a part of SGA is an experience that I am ready to embrace. I hope to be given the honor to proudly represent the class of 2017 as one of the senators. Thank you and have a great night.
All right, next up for sophomore class senator, we have Mark Schenk.
Good evening, Elon University. My name is Mark Schenk, and I'm here to tell you why I am running for the position of sophomore class senator and how I can help improve our overall college experience. Since high school, or even before, almost everyone looks forward to the day they get to go to college. We are constantly told over and over again by our siblings, friends, parents about how amazing being independent is and getting a degree can be. And in my eyes, they were right. I've had an exceptional time so far meeting new people and taking advantage of everything our campus has to offer. Yet in order to continue being a successful and well-running student body, we need to continually assess what is working and what isn't. From this, we can produce viable solutions that improve both our quality of education and student life. As sophomore class senator, I would specifically hone in on the needs and values of our graduating year and ensure that we are properly represented within the SGA community. My involvement in organizations such as Relay for Life and the LEAD program have allowed me to meet a variety of fantastic people and grow closer to the members of our class. This has positioned me as both an accessible and approachable class representative. I am fully willing to devote all time and resources necessary to being the leader that our class deserves. We are all paying to be here, and therefore we all have a right to address our needs and concerns. With me as your class senator, I can assure you that your voice will be heard. Further, I fully intend to improve the transparency between student government and the rest of the student body, increase school spirit, and promote community involvement. I can't promise you an endless list of costly improvements, but I can assure you that I will take this job seriously and represent the class of 2017 to the absolute best of my ability. We're only here for a few years, and that's it. Yet where we are right now is our immediate present. And all of us deserve to have this time in our lives live up to not just our expectations, but also those of future students. That's my mission, and I hope it's yours too. So class of 2017, vote for me, Mark Schenk, to be your sophomore class senator. I promise you won't regret it. Thank you.
Okay, and next up for sophomore class senator, we have Kelsey Johnson.
Good evening. My name is Kelsey Johnson. I'm running for class of 2017 senator. Our time at Elon has only just begun, and I want to help maximize our experience here. As class senator, I will make your voice heard as we continue on our Elon journey. As a former 2-term class officer at School Without Walls High School in Washington, D.C., former White House intern, and current volunteer at Elon's Spanish Center, El Centro, I have been involved in leadership and service positions both on and off campus. As senator, I will work towards fulfilling 4 goals. 1, understanding your desires for the next 3 years at Elon and working towards solving any grievances you may have. 2, fundraising for the class. 3, organizing service opportunities as a way to involve our class in the Burlington community while providing an opportunity to get a volunteer credit out of the way. And 4, increasing effective communication between the class officers in the class and between classmates. I know we have a Facebook page in place, but why not start a Twitter or email feed too? It would be my pleasure to serve you as a class senator and work to enhance the engaged academic and social experience we love so much about Elon. Vote for me, Kelsey Johnson, for class of 2017 senator. Thank you.
Okay, so that's all for the sophomore class. Moving on to the next contested election, we have the junior class president candidate, starting with Sean Berry.
Good evening. Before I begin, I want to thank SGA, the Executive Council, and ELN for having me here tonight. My name is Sean Berry, and I'm running for 2016 class president. My love for Elon is the reason why I'm running for this position. I cannot thank this school enough for giving me so many amazing opportunities, and I can only speak in highest regard for Elon. There are so many reasons why I love this school, and that is why I'm able to see where it needs improvements. I'm able to see what this class needs and how I could work to accomplish that. I do not want to stand up here and make a bunch of promises that I cannot keep. It is important to me to live up to my word, and I do not want to be put in a situation where I cannot stick to my word. So I will not make extravagant promises, but I do want to promise one thing to you. I can promise to be a better representative to the class of 2016 than we have had in the past. The last 2 years, we have not seen much representation for our class, and our wants and needs have gone unanswered and even unheard sometimes. I can promise that I will be available to hear your needs so that I can work to fix them along with the rest of our class senators. I will be available by cell phone, by email, and would love to meet with anyone in our class in order to hear those needs. I will work as hard as I can and see if I can get some of those needs to be answered. I want your voice to be heard. That is what is important to me. As a leadership fellow, becoming a better leader every day is something that I am passionate about. I work every day of my life to better myself and become a better leader for those around me. I hope that you will see this leadership skill as something that could benefit our class and benefit this school. As a leader, I'm aware of my strengths and I'm aware of the things that I am not so strong at. This awareness will help me accomplish what needs to be done and not let the weaknesses get in the way. Also, because of my involvement with not only the Center for Leadership, but also multiple organizations around campus, I have formed great connections. I have friends involved with nearly every organization on campus, and have built relationships with faculty and staff members in offices all over campus. This can help me accomplish our goals, so that I can make sure I can talk to the right people that will cater to your needs. In conclusion, my only promise and my main priority is to better represent the class of 2016. Going into our junior year, it is about time that our needs are heard, and it is time to start seeing some answers. I hope that I will have your vote tomorrow, February 18th, and even Wednesday, February 19th, so that I could start to represent the class of 2016 in a way that it deserves. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
And next up for junior class president, we have Bobby King.
My fellow students, we understand that Elon is a magnificent school. This is not up for debate. While we all agree to this fact, we still face few issues that shake our campus to this core, many of which alter our Elon experience for the better and for the worse. Some also go as far as to give us hope as a student body for a better school for years to come. I personally believe a name says much about a person. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Bobby King, and I am running for to be your next class president for the class of 2016. I have spent almost 2 years as a student at Elon, and I've witnessed the tremendous good that is achievable if we unite behind the right causes. I choose to run because I know it is possible to mold Elon into something we can all take pride in. I have previous leaderships in political organizations, including the vice presidency for the North Carolina Student Legislature, a statewide organization that Dr. Danley is an alumnus of. In this organization, I was constantly exposed to climates that people entered with very strong opinions on issues, and cool heads are needed for debate. We begin our experience at Elon University with a vision of what we believe our campus to be. And I believe that as president of our class, I can help reach that goal. If elected, I promise to be a wise and competent steward of student funds. Smart spending is important to us all, especially if you're a fan of awesome tailgating, phenomenal concerts, as well as student-led campus events and charity runs. I also promise to continue work on Elon's intellectual climate, something that is beneficial to us all, and something that will make us the envy of schools everywhere. As president of the class of 2016, you will not worry about whether or not you have a strong leader in your corner, or a strong ally for that matter. I will do everything in my power along with the Student Senate to accomplish your goals, and if by chance I cannot, I will amplify your needs and concerns to people with the power to do so. I want to tell you guys this, and you guys listen well. This is an election about our collective prosperity, and I believe that we are destined for great things as a class. Again, I am Bobby King. I'm running for junior class president. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Okay, and for the next contested race, we have the candidates for senior class vice president. First up is Yashvi Patel.
Good evening, Elon. My name is Yashvi Patel, and I want your vote for Senior Class Vice President. Elon is transforming, not only physically with new buildings, but academically in character. At this moment of transition, it is imperative that those in charge keep Elon moving forward. What I represent is the kind of innovative minds Elon needs in order to prosper. I would be perfect for the position for Senior Class Vice President, because I'm an experienced leader and an active member on Elon's campus. I was involved in student government all throughout high school and was on the Senate this past year. I also currently work at the Truett Center and participate in the LEAD program. These positions have taught me how to work with diverse groups and individuals. Through this, I have learned to make unbiased decisions. I hope to utilize these skills as Senior Class Vice President and keep Elon moving in the right direction. So, vote YP for VP. Thank you.
All right, and next for senior class vice president, Joshua Kaufman.
Good evening, Elon University class of 2015. My name is Joshua Kaufman, and I am running to be your senior class vice president. As a current senator on SGA and as an active student involved in various campus organizations, I am confident that my skills and experiences align perfectly with the role of a senior class vice president. Currently, I'm a representative of the College of Arts and Sciences on the Academic Council. And while I've greatly enjoyed working closely with the Dean of Elon College and Academic Affairs, I have learned that my passion in student government is greatest among interactions with my fellow peers in regards to social issues, community outreach, and class spirit. As a recent inductee into Elon's Omicron Delta Kappa, the National Leadership Honor Society, it would be irresponsible of me not to briefly mention some of my leadership roles on campus. As a Safe Rides captain, I assist in the coordination of volunteers and contribute to Elon's initiative of student safety through risk reduction. As the male student representative on the Sexual Assault and Gender Issues Council, my role is to discuss various gender and relationship issues on campus, along with helping to approve campus-related policies. As an individual passionate about service, I participate in Elonthon, blood drives, and alternative break trips, along with regularly volunteering in Elon's new Gender and LGBTQIA Center. And finally, as a team leader of Sparks Peer Education, I am in constant communication with other campus organizations to collaborate on workshops themed around healthy choices and lower risk decision making. The communication, facilitation, and critical thinking skills I have developed from my leadership roles are undoubtedly crucial to the role of a senior class vice president. Now, what can you expect from me as your vice president? Well, if elected, I will be working closely with our class president to make senior year the best year among your time here at Elon. Along with working to select our class gift and graduation speaker, I will raise my voice when necessary, promote transparency, and challenge cultural and institutional barriers that inhibit individual growth. I will strive to create an accessible atmosphere that students find approachable and comfortable while promoting intersectionality amongst Elon's diverse population. What you all may not be aware of is that your senior class SGA representatives are responsible for the class of 2015 alumni engagements. Once a Phoenix, always a Phoenix, and I am determined to create stronger alumni ties and continue to represent the class of 2015 long after graduation. I want to wish my opponent the best of luck in this election and emphasize that I am here for you, class of 2015, to guide, represent, and assist in leading you all during the greatest year of your academic career. My name is Joshua Kaufman, and I am determined to be your senior class vice president. Thank you.
All right, and I apologize. I have one correction to make. I told you earlier that only positions that are opposed are giving speeches, but actually all of the candidates for the executive positions will be giving speeches as well. So first up, we're going to have Matthew Crehan, who is running for executive secretary.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Matthew Crehan, and I am running for the position of Executive Secretary. I'd like to first start by telling you a little about myself. I'm a sophomore political science and policy studies major from Central New Jersey, and I recently joined SGA back in August as sophomore class vice president. Over the past few months, I've worked alongside my fellow senators and rediscovered my passion for student government. I have had such an amazing experience in SGA throughout the past semester, and I look forward to continuing this experience throughout the next year. During my time on SGA, I have served on both the student issues and homecoming committees, and my experience on these committees will aid in my time as executive secretary. One of my duties in the upcoming year will be planning homecoming for the next fall. After working with our current executive secretary, Lauren Ryman, to plan this year's homecoming, I believe I know what it takes to make next homecoming a success. In addition to working in the homecoming committee, my experience in working in the Alumni Center has given me the opportunity to help plan multiple homecoming events for a large number of alumni. I am looking forward to making homecoming 2014 bigger and better so that the student body and alumni will both have an incredible experience. I look forward to working alongside with my fellow executive officers as well as the student body next year. I can assure you that as executive secretary, I will always give my full attention and energy to any task that is presented to me so that we can have a successful year together. I will always have an open door and encourage anyone that has any suggestions or questions to reach out to me so that I can best represent my fellow classmates. Thank you for your time, and I am very excited to be representing each one of you as executive secretary over the next year. Have a great night.
Okay, and next we have Sarah Paella Jansen, Excuse me, I mean Avery Stedman, who is running for Executive Treasurer. Sorry about that.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Avery Stedman, and I'm running for Executive Treasurer. Tonight, I would like to share with you my experience as the treasurer for the class of 2016 over the past 2 years, and what goals I have set for the Treasury for the next year. Over the past few years, the current executive treasurer and his predecessors have worked tirelessly to create a more efficient and transparent budget allocation process. In the last year, the Senate has passed new legislation that has completely restored the budgetary process for the first time in over 10 years. With new seat distribution on the Organization Council, club presidents and treasurers will have more convenient access to their SGA representatives. They will meet with this representative before budget hearings and have a chance to discuss in detail what their budget for the following year will look like. It is my hope that all clubs and organizations will be more aware of the range of possibilities available to them. It is with this new process that organizations will find it much easier to receive the funds necessary to grow with the university as we strive towards a more intellectual climate. My personal favorite part of serving on the Finance Committee is each week meeting with different students from all parts of campus to discuss the amazing opportunities and events they have come across. This past fall, the Senate helped fund events from an a cappella group's book drive to a student attending a conference in which he was being awarded for intensive research study. It has been eye-opening to meet all these different types of students and watch them light up a room as they discuss their amazing opportunities on Elon's campus. The Finance Committee is always blown away by our incredible peers and the ideas that they come up with. And therefore, this Senate year, Ricky has had each student come and talk to our Senate during the open forum. I plan on carrying on this tradition because I believe it is a great way to increase publicity and for the students and the university itself. I have found my passion here at Elon, and specifically that is serving as a treasurer for SGA. That passion is helping me find the resources necessary for fulfilling their goals. It is my goal that all Elon students with an idea can make that idea become a real vision. We can do that by increasing awareness and creating a clear, productive allocation process. Together, let's propel Elon into the future, one great idea and in hand allocation at a time. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Okay, and now next up we have our candidate for Executive Vice President, Brian Kozin.
Good evening, my fellow students. Recently, I was in an interview and I was asked, why Elon? Since then, I've continued to think about what this incredible institution has provided for me. I am proud to say that I am an Elon student, and it is my privilege to represent this diverse and accomplished student body. Each and every student at Elon is dedicated to this community in some way. It could be club sports, volunteer organizations, or Greek life. We all have a stake in Elon. My goal is to make this community we all care so deeply about an even better place. I want to make sure everyone here on campus has a voice and can turn to SGA and myself whenever they need to be heard. I dedicate my drive and passion to my role on Senate already. I am lucky enough to currently represent the students of the business school, and I am ecstatic to continue my role as a servant leader. I truly believe that we can push the boundaries even further. Elon is an incredible place to grow and learn, and we do that by being constantly open to reform. I have never worked with an organization that was so willing to change their ways for one member. The first step in the reforms that continue to make Elon innovative is to speak up and express your opinions. I promise to take each and every one of your opinions to the Senate and the staff in order to jumpstart the process that makes Elon so great. I will not stop until every idea is exhaustingly explored and everyone has had an opportunity to express his or her views. Facilitating discussion, encouraging reform, and representing your constituents are what make a great leader and a member of SGA. I pledge to do all three of these things during my time in office, and I urge every member of the student body to utilize their voice and come to SGA when you need to be heard.
We are here to serve you, and my office door will always be open. I can assure you that I will represent you and your ideas, and together we can continue what makes Elon such an unbelievable place. Thanks, and have a good evening.
All right, now before we move on to the candidates for executive president, we're going to hear from the candidate for senior class president, Sarah Payansa.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah Payansa, and I'm running for president of the class of 2015. And I thought it would be really funny to tell you a little bit about my preparation for my very first SGA election. My freshman year, I made a t-shirt with very crude iron-on letters that said, "Vote Sarah." And that was it. It's not what I would call a decent campaign strategy, for sure. When I ironed on those letters to that shirt, I had no idea what SGA was for, or if I would even enjoy it. And I certainly had no idea that SGA would become such an enormous aspect of my life. My 3 terms have been filled with challenges, some of which have left me questioning why I even joined in the first place. The truth was that Org Fair was still a week away, and I was antsy to live up to that Elon promise of belonging. But through those challenges, I have learned that Elon commitment. Above all else, I care immensely about student government. Whether it's coordinating the annual holiday party, sponsoring legislation that might have been a little controversial, or captaining the first ever SGA Sports Fest team, I put every effort into my work. I could not have wished for a better organization to dedicate my time towards, and I'm very grateful for every challenge that has come my way. The SGA that I ran for wearing that hideous pink shirt is not the SGA that I'm running for now. For the past 3 years, I have witnessed tremendous growth, not only in myself, but also in this organization. I am honored to be in a position to continue the momentum that has been building, particularly in the at-large council. I am eager and enthusiastic for the changes that are coming, and forever grateful to continue representing the class of 2015. Thank you.
Next up, we're going to hear from your 2 candidates for executive president, starting with Jessica Petrillo.
Good evening, students. For those of you who do know me, hello again. For those of you who don't, my name is Jessica Petrillo. I'm a junior, and I'm running for the office of executive president. Over the past 11 months as chief of staff to the current student body president, I have been able to experience and be exposed to the true rewards and challenges of the job. Whether attending meetings, just revising speeches, or simply being present, the opportunity to represent Elon in any way, shape, or form has always been an honor to me. As someone who in her first year could have never imagined wanting to be in an executive position like this, I can only say that it is because of the experiences I've had at Elon that I feel so differently now. Elon has impressed upon me many things. First and foremost, it is that while each of us chose Elon for different reasons, those are the reasons for which we come together to form a diverse community. Earlier this year, I was able to help many of my peers come together to discuss difficult issues surrounding the events that transpired in a Colonnades residence hall. Though under unfortunate circumstances, through this forum organized by myself and 2 other Senate members, I was able to see how my work empowered students and enabled them to have their voices heard. While it may have been on a smaller scale, this is clearly one of the larger jobs of the executive president, to give students a voice that they might not otherwise have. This premise forms a large part of the reason why I would like to be your student body president. Secondly, Elon has taught me that your acquaintances, friends, and professors' various opinions, views, and influences are largely responsible for the person you become. As I mentioned before, I could have never imagined running for a position like this as a first year. I'm fortunate enough to have those at Elon who have not only been incredible role models, but have also trusted in my leadership abilities, putting me in positions that tested me while also helping me learn to become a better leader. As a past associate director and the current director of the Elon Network, I have worked to create an environment in which students have the opportunity to make lasting connections and develop relationships that can ultimately make career aspirations come true.
Through SGA, I've been able to contribute my ideas to campus initiatives and movements, such as the Intellectual Climate Committee, Student Issues Committee, and Student Life Committee. The ways in which I have given back to Elon are a small portion of what I believe I owe to it, and I can only hope that the impact that I make is a fragment of the impact Elon has already made upon me. Thirdly, Elon has also shown me that things don't always go according to plan. It's the way you handle a new plan or adapt to changes that truly matters. Being in an environment like Elon that does not knock you down for your mistakes has continuously challenged and allowed me to grow. It is primarily due to this that I am standing in front of you today, asking for your support as the next student body president. It would be unrealistic of me to promise you that as your student body president, I would be perfect. It would also be unfair of me to promise you that absolutely everything we want to happen in the next year will. However, what I can promise you is that as your student body president, I would not only work to accomplish my goals, but most importantly, yours. However, I'm so sorry. I believe that I am the best candidate to represent Elon and its student body, and sincerely hope that I have earned your vote tonight. Thank you for your time and have a nice evening.
All right, and your last speech of the night, we have Joseph and Corvia as your next candidate for executive president.
Good evening, everyone. Whether you're here in the audience tonight or listening around campus, I really appreciate your attention and that you have given me the opportunity to run to be your student body president. It's really difficult to even attempt to describe the feelings that I have for Elon in a 5 to 6 minute speech. There are so many different aspects of Elon that I have experienced and many highs and lows that I could speak about. The only thing I can say for sure is that Elon has played a significant role in the person that I have become today. For those of you that know me, you know that I'm devoted to my passions and eager to help others. For those of you that don't, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Joan Corvia. I'm a junior biochemistry major from a small town called Harwinton, Connecticut, and I want to become a doctor one day. I love to play soccer. It's my favorite sport. I always get the flat iron steak wrap at the root. And for some reason unknown to myself, I'm a die-hard St. Louis Rams fan. I have fallen in love with Elon and could not picture myself at any other university. Introductions aside, there are 3 main aspects of being at this university that can define my time here. The experiences that I've had, the relationships that I've made, and the growth that I've seen in myself. What makes Elon so great is that I know I'm not the only one that has experienced these things. How many of you have studied abroad? How many of you have joined an organization that ignites a passion inside of you? How many of you have found a best friend that no matter how late at night it is, they'll drive you to cookout? How many of you have had a close relationship with a professor or staff member that has really significantly impacted your life? I know that I am not the same person that I was almost 3 years ago when I first stepped on this campus. And, I really attribute that by saying that I took a little bit of President Lambert's advice when he said to not make a bologna sandwich. And, I have to say, my experience here at Elon, it tastes pretty good. I've noticed one thing about Elon, though. No matter how many opportunities you take advantage of, how many relationships you build, and how much you grow in your time here, everyone has one thing in common: pretty full schedule. The great thing is that everybody's schedule is filled with something different. We have athletes that are getting drafted into professional leagues. Undergrads are doing groundbreaking research year-round and are getting published in national journals. We have incredible artists, vocalists, actors that are getting national recognition. I saw Much Ado About Nothing last week, and I can say that any of the students that were in that performance could have won an Oscar. We are breaking through into nearly every major discipline here at Elon. And we were actually predicted to make the NCAA tournament this year. Go Elon. Elon is making its place on the map. And although we are not without our hard times, we can truly call this place home. This university has been instrumental in my life and hopefully yours. And for that reason, I want to be your student body president. The role of student body president is to give a voice to all students across campus. Whether you're studying in Club Belk, or fulfilling those New Year's resolutions and going to the gym, or simply just hanging out with your friends and playing Mario Kart in your dorm room, I want to hear your opinions. Now, it's going to take me a while to talk to all 5,598 of you, but I will definitely give it a shot. I want SGA to be more accessible to you all. I want to be more than just a face on a poster or a silhouette in an office. To me, that is what is most important. I am an Elon student, and not much more different than those of you listening tonight. Together, we all struggle through classes, hang out with friends, overcommit ourselves, dread finals. Elon has made us who we are. And once again, I am first and foremost an Elon student. I want to be elected student body president so that I can make sure to continue making progress on what we in SGA have been doing and challenge what you all feel needs to be changed. I bet if I asked you to describe a defining Elon experience, each of you would have something different to say. Some might say it was traveling abroad. Some might say their Greek organization. Some might say giving their time back and doing service. Some might say their research. For me, one of my defining experiences has been serving on SGA. I was president of the class of 2015 for my freshman and sophomore year. This year, I was privileged enough to be your student body vice president. And I am proud to say that I have loved every single minute of it. I worked closely with each of the executive officers to get a good idea of how SGA is supposed to function. During my time here, I can definitely say that I've been able to develop my leadership ability through SGA, while making an effort to enhance the Elon experience for all. We have revolutionized tailgating, advised Mosley renovations, and helped many students achieve their goals. So after all that, why should you vote for me? Well, for me, it's pretty simple. I can sum it up in 3 words. Because I care. I, Joseph Concorvia, promise that if I am elected student body president, your voice will be heard, and I will not let you down. Thank you, and have a great evening.
And we just finished hearing from Joe Incorvia, who is running against Jessica Petrillo for Student Body Executive President. And as we said earlier, they are the only ones who are running against each other. Everyone else is still unopposed, but they gave speeches. So the real decision comes between the two of them.
Now, let's talk about what we saw tonight. Definitely passion. So everybody
Absolutely.
who spoke tonight really cares about our student body and really wants to be in those positions. In terms of the two running for executive president, they certainly both have the credentials. There's no doubt about that. Joan Corvia being the executive vice president in SGA, and Jessica Petrillo serving as the current director of the Elon network and also junior class secretary.
And it seems like everyone in that room had the SGA experience. They really wanted to continue to be a part of that. And that takes dedication for any organization on campus. And now that we've heard from the candidates, we're joined by our current student body president, Wellsford Bishoprick. Wellsford, thank you so much for joining us here.
My pleasure, guys.
We have a couple questions for you. My first one is, what do you think is your greatest accomplishment during your time as president here at Elon?
Well, I would put that as twofold. First of all, I applaud the work that I helped put in motion, but really the Senate and my fellow execs have kind of helped carry out, and that's really watching a lot of the authority that used to sit with the 4 executive officers, whether it's funding decisions, whether it's speaking engagements, whether it's representing Elon at different events off campus. It usually fell on those 4 individuals, which makes sense because they are the executive branch. They are the ones that are relied on most heavily. But I think that one thing that we've done very well this year is find people within the Senate. There are several examples. The 3 that would immediately come up are the liaisons for each one of our councils. They've done a great job of empowering the senators to kind of step up and make more decisions and as a byproduct of that have much more authority. So that would be the first one. The second one honestly didn't touch me until I was sitting in the control room watching all those speeches and just watching so many people that I've seen come from being, first-year officers or first-year senators or organizational senators, and watching them grow into the people that just gave those speeches was truly amazing.
Yeah, like Joan Corvia said, because I care, but they definitely all care very much about what they do. You talk about solutions, but as SGA executive president, I'm sure you've met your fair share of challenges. What do you think the biggest challenge is going to be for the next executive president?
Well, you can never tell. The biggest challenge of being student body president on a personal level is really learning to set aside maybe the way that you feel about an issue, or maybe the way that you would, reflexively respond as an individual. Whether it was 2 years ago when Darian Flowers faced the Chick-fil-A situation, or whether it's something much smaller but still very important to a group or an individual student. You always have to be sensitive to your office, and I think that both Jess and Joe would do an incredible job at that.
Now, I know you mentioned both their names. The question on all of our minds is, who are you endorsing?
Well, I'm not endorsing anyone, and that's for several reasons. First of all, I think it would be inappropriate. But frankly, the bigger reason is these are two people that have been incredibly important parts of my administration. Jess is my chief of staff, Joe is my vice president. Those are two roles that have been critical to me accomplishing anything that I have accomplished. And so I think that either one of them would do an incredible job. I think Elon is faced with a very, very good choice.
Excellent. Now, what do you think is the most important issue facing the Student Government Association this semester?
This semester is in for the remainder of our term, or going into the ones that Jessica and Joe will be
Let's
facing?
talk about the remainder of your term, because you're here.
I think that the biggest thing that we need to focus on is SGA's made a tremendous amount of changes in the last year. We revised our Constitution that, as I mentioned, passed on a lot of executive authority down to the Senate. We've started several initiatives, whether it's doing a monthly service project, or whether it's things like Sarah Pianza mentioned in her speech, just community building events like our Sports Fest team. I think the biggest thing is to keep the momentum going through the year. Because of the way our academic year is structured versus the way our Senate year is structured, the last semester that SGA meets is usually a little bit of a lame duck semester, and I think that we've already done a good job of combating that, and I think just more than anything, keeping all the changes that we started going.
Excellent.
Now, you mentioned a lot of changes. What would you like to see SGA doing this time next year?
This time next year, I would love to see much more what SGA is doing rather than what they've done. And the question there is, we've spent this entire year working on intellectual climate, which is something that almost every single candidate mentioned. It's been a huge endeavor. It's something that we're going towards getting legislation on the floor of the Senate next week. And I think that if we can see some of the changes that we've wanted to push through that, whether it's working on the RA position to make that a more enjoyable and more beneficial experience for all of those that are part of it, whether it's finding new intellectual spaces on campus through that initiative, and whether it's just SGA members doing more group activities like our retreat that we went on this year. That was the first time that we've had a really good longer retreat in a long time. I think that the organization has come a long way in the last 3 years, and I'd like to see that keep going.
Oh, we all hope it definitely does. But thank you so much for your time, Wellsford. We're now going to toss over to Joe Bruno, who is in Studio B, readying for the debate session of our program. Joe?
Hello, and welcome to the 2014 SGA presidential debate. I'm Joe Bruno, and I'll be your moderator this evening. I'm joined by executive president candidates Joe Corvia and Jessica Petrillo. Thank you for being here, guys. Thank you, Joe. Here's a little bit about how tonight's debate is going to work. The format is as follows. Each candidate will make a brief opening statement. I will then begin posing questions to the candidates. Each question will warrant a 1-minute response, followed by a 30-second rebuttal. At the end, we will have closing statements, and discussion can continue at my discretion. Are there any questions?
I think we're good.
All right, well, let's begin with your opening statement, Joe.
No problem. Thank you, Jeff. Well, as you guys all, hopefully if you're still tuned in from the speeches, my name is Joe Corvia, and like Jess, we're both running for student body president. And for me, Elon has really been a place where I've seen myself grow, experience change, and being a part of SGA for the past 3 years has been truly a defining experience for me. And so my reason for running is that I want to be a student that leads other students, and my experience on SGA, as well as just the experience of being an Elon student, really fits this role really well. So thank you.
Hi everyone. I first want to thank you for coming out, those of you at home watching and those of you here in the audience. It's funny, like I said during my speech, as a first year, could have never imagined running for a role like this in my junior year here at Elon. And it truly is because of the opportunities that I've been given and because of the people that I've met here that this is even possible. I can't imagine doing it any other way at this point in my life. And that's what I want for you. I want you to be able to accomplish those goals and meet those people and do those same things and live out your dreams at Elon however you want to do it. So I move on to you then, I guess.
Thank you very much. Joe, let's start with you. Executive President candidates say every year they want to increase the dialogue between the school and the student government. You spoke about that a lot in your speech. What are you going to do differently that other presidents haven't done in the past?
I think, Joe, transparency is something that comes up every year. And for lack of a better term, when I think of what I would do differently is just continuing how accessible SGA truly is and making sure that students know that. There's a lot of reasons why students can come to SGA, and I think they only really know us as like a bank, and they know us that they can come to us with problems. If a big incident happens, we'll hold a forum, or if we need money, we can go to SGA. But I think that what's really important is to make sure that each position on SGA really knows their roles and really understands what their responsibilities are and who they represent, and making sure that the students around campus know who those representatives are. Why can't the Org Council representatives be posted in their respective schools? Why can't the at-large councils have their posters all over the place? I think it's just more important for people to get their name out there and know that they have space to come to us and talk to us whenever they want.
Jess, how will you address transparency?
I think that's a really good question, and it's something that definitely came up earlier this year, especially first semester when we had those incidents. And I feel that I was really able to connect with the student body over that, because in organizing that forum, tons of students who didn't feel they had a place to have their voices heard did. And the comments that I received afterwards and the feedback were just incredible. People were so happy that they were able to not only bring it to us as an issue, but also bring it to Dr. Jackson, Dean Patterson, and all the staff members that were so nice to come and join us and listen to what students say. And I think that doing things like that and really being open to those types of conversations is really important.
Jess, in your speech you spoke a lot about diversity. How can we as a campus promote diversity without secluding and separating different backgrounds and groups?
I think that that's a really good question. I think it's something that Elon is definitely examining on a higher level and has been pushing for a very long time. I think continuing to support what they're doing as far as admissions goes, and looking at things that when things do happen, that we are reacting appropriately to them and making sure that students, no matter what happens, feel welcome to come to us, to come to any one of their representatives, to make sure that they feel Elon is a better place and a good outlet for them to explain what their discomfort is.
I think Jess makes great points. I think that SGA should be someone that students come to and talk about these things, and that we should align ourselves with what the university has already been doing and being proactive to address these things. And I think it all starts really with orientation as well, that should be an expectation when you come in of what kind of standard we hold ourselves here at Elon, and what's appropriate, especially when talking about diversity, because that's such a tough subject. And so I think the intellectual climate talks that are going on address orientation really well, and we can hopefully see some changes in the next year that really tells people when they come to Elon University, this is what they can expect and this is what they can do.
Well, Joe, tomorrow is the SGA Intellectual Climate Coffee Forum. It's an event aimed to gather the opinions and beliefs of students regarding the combination of social and academic life. What are you looking to come out of this event?
I think this event is really great because it's allowing students to come and talk about what has really been a huge initiative for SGA this past year. It stemmed from discussions that we've had at our senior staff retreat in the summer, and really going to finding a way to really enhance the intellectual climate here. And I think what's important is that hopefully coming out of this event, students can come talk to their representatives, talk to the current executive officers and the senators that are there, and really understand, what are our goals moving forward, and how do we want to talk about these kinds of topics moving forward. And hopefully my main goal is that people are more aware that we are trying to push the university to have more intellectual conversations and understand the power that these kind of conversations can have. So hopefully we can get out of that something pretty great and more momentum going towards what we've been trying to do over the last year.
I would definitely agree with that. I think that it's really important as Elon moves forward as a prominent university on the state front and on the national front. I think that exploring these things such as intellectual climate and how intellectually stimulated are students, how welcome do they feel to explore passions, I think that that's something really important. And the different things that we've been exploring, especially in the Intellectual Climate Committee, I think it's going to be great to hear student opinions on that and be able to really put those into action.
Jess, so far this year, 2 of our dining halls have received below average health scores. Mold was found in the Colonnades ice machine, and raw chicken was served to a patron to the point where they had to refund her food dollars in the dining hall. Is there anything the SGA can do to address these kinds of issues?
So I think that that's definitely a student issue that was addressed earlier this year. I know that we had someone come and present to us, actually a few people come and talk to us about it and really be honest with us. And I think that that's really important, that they were there, they were available, they were willing to come and tell us about it, be completely forthcoming with us and let us know what actually happened. And therefore we were able to go forth to the student body and let them know what happened. And I think that that was really crucial. That was a very important element to what happened. And I think that that happens, you know, that does happen anywhere that there's food served. And I think that being as careful as we are, we just need to keep examining those things moving forward and really keep SGA open to those types of conversations.
And I completely agree. I think what Jess said about having the representatives from Aramark and those that handle our food come and talk to us was really great. You know, these things, as Jess said, they happen, and they do. And what was told by us to us was that, you know, even though these things happen, sometimes it gets publicized in a way where students feel frightened, students really get scared, and that they really shouldn't need to worry. And just having those honest dialogues and making sure that the students are able to get that information correctly and from the right sources is really important. And I think, you know, these things could come up again. I think that's a great way to handle it and continue what we did this year.
Joe, in a recent interview with ELN, President Welsford Bishopric said SGA and SUB are examining whether or not to combine the fall and spring concerts next year. Where do you stand on the issue?
I think it's a fantastic idea. And my reasoning for that is not saying that I've never enjoyed the spring concert, but saying that what we did this year, we brought in Time Flies, and we said that we would raise the bar and we would bring a concert that students would love. And I think we did our best to really deliver that, and we did do a good job, and the students enjoyed it. And I think the next step is to really think about, okay, where can we allocate more money to try to figure out how we can even do a grander concert and make this the tradition rather than a one-time thing. And so I think it's really important for us moving forward to continue those talks, find the best ideas for how that works, and I think I'm completely for it if that's something the students want, and that's something the students will enjoy, and I think that will be the best thing for everyone in the end.
I would tend to agree with you there. I think that this year was very unique in our homecoming concert, and I think the student body would agree with me when I say that. I think that next year it's going to be great to bring in something big if that's what we decide to do, but I think it really should be up to the student body about whether we combine or don't combine those two concerts.
Jess, in your speech today, you said that you admit that you won't be a perfect president, but what can you offer the presidency that your opponent might not be able to?
Sure. So I think that's a great question, and Joe and I are great friends, so no matter what.
Answer honestly.
I think that one of my strongest suits is my personality. I think that I'm a very open person, and I think I'm very, very welcoming to anyone who wants to approach me. I love to talk to people. I love to deal with people, and I really have loved representing Elon on any front that I've been given the opportunity to do so. And I think that keeping in mind while you're president that you represent Elon, you represent the student body. You are a student leader for more than just the people that you think you are. And I think keeping that in mind is really important. And I think that because of my personality and combining it with that, I think I would make a great candidate for president.
Joe, I'm going to let you chime in here. Can you just speak closer to the mic, both of you? We're having some trouble in the control room,
Do you
apparently,
want us to
with
pull
the
it
audio. Well, you can move it closer. You could lean closer, whichever you prefer.
I would have to concur. I think my personality is what really leads me to be a great candidate as well. But beyond my personality, I think it's the experiences that I've had. I've been on SGA since I've stepped on this campus. And for me, I just have a really, really good understanding of how SGA runs and throughout many facets. Understanding by working closely with the treasurer and working on allocations, understanding how the treasury works, understanding the what ifs about homecoming, and understanding how the Senate runs for being vice president this year. And also just my involvement around campus. I've been involved in everything from science organizations to student government to what have you. And I just think all those experiences culminated is what makes me great.
Joe, what is one Elon-related story that you've read or viewed this year that surprised you and stands out to you as something that you would have addressed proactively as president?
I think something that was really surprising to me was when, and this was originally before we learned all the information about the whole dining hall incidents, was the fact that we got such low ratings and the fact that it wasn't communicated to the students that, you know, even though we got these ratings, like, we are still safe. There was this whole kind of big thing to do about how we are now eating unsafe food and students didn't want to go to the dining halls, and there was a kind of a panic. And I think what happens is if those things are immediately reported, having something, and we ended up having representatives come talk to us because they reached out to us and they wanted to come talk to us. But being proactive and reaching out to them before it gets to that point where they say, well, we'll come in and come talk to you guys. So I think for me, just being able to react to something and making sure that the students have the correct and truthful information right up front, so that no one really gets into a panic mode and no one really gets confused about what's going on.
I would definitely agree with you. In a different example, I talked about earlier this year the forum that we held in reaction to the unfortunate incidents in the Colonnades Residence Hall. And I remember, the articles that came out, they kept taking back the articles, saying maybe the information wasn't correct and things like that. And I know that having correct information is always very important to the Elon student body, and knowing those things up front may not always be possible, but I think that the university staff and faculty ended up handling that whole communication area very well and communicating to us what they thought and what would be the standards going forward. So I think that really helped, but addressing those things up front definitely is important.
Jess, what can you take away from Wellsford, Sam Warren, Darian Flowers, any of their presidencies and learn from?
Sure. So I think that this year has been absolutely incredible. We've had so much change on SGA. Students who are senators have more responsibilities than they have ever had before in the past, and they've stepped up to those roles. And I think it's incredibly exciting. It's awesome. SGA has played more of a role in the Elon community than they ever have. And I think that that's something that needs to be continued, and really not only continued, but enforced, and they need to be held accountable to that. And I think that moving forward and being very strong as we, start out the next Senate year, I think that that's something that will be very important and something that I can take away from past presidents.
What I loved is just the differences that each of those presidents had. Sam Warren was kind of a lighthearted, kind of quieter kind of president who, had his opinions but really kept them and really tried to vote in the best sense of the student body. And for me, just kind of taking my opinions out of it is something that I learned from him. Darian was passionate about serving the student body extremely well. And I think that I can relate to that as well, and I have the best interests of the students in mind. And while you may have your own bias, I think it's important to be able to bring a different perspective. And Wellsford did an amazing job of rejuvenating the Senate and bringing it to what it is today. And I think that's something that I can honor as well, because that is my goal, is to keep moving that motivation and continue that momentum and see what happens from here on out.
And before I get to the next question, I'd like to apologize for mispronouncing Wellsford Bishoprick's name. I realized it as soon as I said it. Anyway, we have one more question for each of you now. I'm going to start with you, Joe. Yeah. Describe for me the first couple months of your presidency. Where do you see the most improvement needed?
Most improvement needed. I think that really starting from inauguration is what's really important is just making sure that we have senators who really understand what they are doing and really are able to relate to their constituents. And I think we did a great job this year of kind of starting to build those bridges. But I see my first couple months, at least till the end of the spring semester, ironing out some of the more logistical side of the Senate. And making sure that each different senator, whether you're on the at-large council representing the classes, the academic council representing the schools, or the organization council representing the different organizations, you know specifically what you're responsible to do, and you do it well. And I think it goes from not only preparing them in the correct way, but talking to current students and the people that were on those councils previously, and finding the right students for those jobs, and really having a strong Senate, because I believe we had one this year, and I would love to have one again next year.
Jess?
I would agree. I think that, like I said, starting out, it's really important to maintain those responsibilities and those roles that we've given out to senators this year and made sure that they feel accountable for those. In addition, I think that looking at, last year we reorganized organization and council. I think it's really important this year that we start to look at large council and sort of help with the cohesiveness of it, and really get senators from different classes to work together to try and figure out the best ways to do things. And furthermore, a few months out, I would love to continue the service aspect of it and getting involved in the Elon community so people know who we are. It was great at Sports Fest and getting involved like that, and I would love to continue that.
One last question. And before I ask for your closing statements, Jess, what do you think the most pressing issue for Elon students is right now, and how will you address it?
So I think that that's a great question, because I think there's a lot of ways that can be taken. At the beginning of the year when we do the PIDLs list, it's always really interesting to see the smaller issues that students feel are pressing at Elon, from whether it's needing more benches on campus and more places to eat outside. I think that those are all really important, and working towards those smaller problems to fix all of them, that's something that should definitely take precedent. And on a larger scale, I think that the intellectual climate is something that's definitely being examined at a broader university level, and it's also being examined by us on Senate. And I think that making sure that students feel that they are being challenged, not only in the classroom, but outside of the classroom, or being able to pursue their passions, I think that's really important, especially as Elon moves forward as one of the more prominent schools around.
And I have to say, I think this is where Jess and I probably agree the most, both being on the intellectual climate committee. And I agree, we need to take care of those small things that the students want and be able to make sure that their voices are heard in those regards. But I think when you talk about intellectual climate and you talk about moving forward with the things that we've already done, I think what's important to realize is that the students don't necessarily realize how much of potential they have to change that and potential to have to really understand what it's about. And I think that's why the forum tomorrow is going to be fantastic. And I think that going forward, one of the most important things is just to make sure each student knows their role. Knowing that, when we talk about what Town Table could potentially become, rest its soul, I love Town Table, but when it comes up that students have a say in what that is, and students have a say of what will be happening on that level.
Thank you both, and I will now ask for your closing statements.
Yeah, no problem. So once again, guys, my name is Joan Corvia, and for me, Elon has been a incredible almost 3 years, and looking forward, one of the things that I really want to get across is that my experience as an Elon student really has taught me so much about myself and about what this university can offer. And I just feel as though if every single student could have the ability to chase a passion, achieve a dream, and go do what they want to do in this world and be prepared for that world, then it would be great. And now we can't provide that for everyone yet, but hopefully one day that we could do that. And for me, I want to be student body president because I feel as though I can relate to each and every student out there. I know what your struggles are. I know what you're concerned about. And what's important to me is that we can all find a way that we can make the best Elon experience possible.
I want to thank you all again for coming out tonight and just mention, I may have not been on Senate as long as my opposing candidate. However, my 2 years not being on Senate have given me the opportunity to get to know campus on a different level. I've been able to work as an Elon elementary tutor. I've been able to volunteer in El Centro. I've been able to do different things that are associated with my career path and really focus on those in addition to then becoming a senator. However, I think that also provides a unique opportunity for me to communicate and coordinate with students on campus and get to know them. I love Elon more than words can even express, and I absolutely jump at any opportunity I am given to represent it. And I think that is something very unique. And students, you don't realize how much of a representative you are of something until you're actually in those shoes. And I would love to continue to be in those shoes, but furthermore as a more prominent role as student body president.
Thank you both, and I wish you both the best of luck tomorrow and the days to come.
Thank you so much, yeah.
And that will conclude our debate. We will now head to Nicole Chadwick and Alex Rose for the post-debate analysis. Candidates, thank you very much, and be sure to vote tomorrow.
And welcome back. We just heard the executive presidential debate. Now let's go over what we just heard. Transparency. Now, I think the Student Government Association definitely this year has done a good job with that. One of my friends is one of the senators there, and they're required to wear pins to, promote the identity of our senators in the student government, kind of make that connection from student to student. When you hear SGA, you almost think, oh, this is just another student organization, but the things that they do really impact your course and career throughout Elon.
Yeah, and I also think, transparency is kind of always